just so you know, she only said yes because she's never been up close to a beast like Brock Lesnar.
Pro wrestlers are quite different from normal folk. Unlike other employees, they do not work sitting in a cubicle, enjoying the perks of a steady job. The wrestlers live on the road, riding from one town to another, getting a few hours of sleep in motels, and considering they have to perform multiple times in a week, they sometimes don't go home for weeks, and when they do, they have to get back on the road after a couple of days. This forces performers to date their peers, and while it's often said that you should never date a co-worker, it doesn't really apply to wrestlers. In the past, we've seen performers getting married, and while not all relationships make it past the final hurdle, it is commonplace for wrestlers to date one another. Given the fact that they live and perform in the wacky world of pro wrestling, and not all wrestlers date people in the same age group, my name is John, and in this video we will be taking a look at 10 wrestling couples that have a huge age difference. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon without a doubt are the most powerful couple in pro wrestling today. When Vince McMahon finally decides to step down, it will be Hunter and Stephanie that will take over, and with Triple H already giving the WWE fans a glimpse of his vision with NXT, the fans can definitely expect some major changes to take place in the organization. Triple H and Stephanie's relationship blossomed when they were paired together on screen, and a couple of years later they tied the knot, which also cemented Triple H's position as one of the most powerful men in the business. Triple H is also 7 years older, which begs the question, what was Stephanie doing when Triple H first entered the business? Well, Stephanie was a 16-year-old when Triple H made his pro wrestling debut in '92. All things considered, the King of Kings certainly had his eyes on the prize. No wonder he's called the Cerebral Assassin. Bray Wyatt is currently one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions along with Matt Hardy. Wyatt was married to Samantha Rotunda and they had 2 children. The relationship hit a rough patch, however, when Wyatt was accused of spending less time with the kids, and soon Samantha would find out that Bray Wyatt was having an affair, which caused the married couple to get separated. Bray Wyatt is currently dating Jojo, who is a part of the WWE announce team. Wyatt and Jojo have a 7-year age gap between them, with Wyatt being 31 and Jojo being 24. Phil Brooks went from being one of the most high-profile names in the wrestling business to being one of the biggest draws in MMA. When Punk was in the WWE, he became the longest reigning WWE champion in the modern era, a record that was recently broken by a certain Brock Lesnar. Punk's wife AJ Lee is a former WWE superstar as well. AJ Lee was also one of the most popular stars in the company, and is a former Divas champion herself. However, AJ walked away from the company when the animosity between Punk and WWE management started to affect her in-ring career. Punk and AJ Lee were able to tie the knot in 2014, and Punk, who had been wrestling for a majority of 2 decades, is 8 years older than AJ. However, it was AJ Lee that made Punk settle down and follow his dreams. And AJ Lee has also done remarkably well for herself since leaving the company, as she's written a book and is now developing a television series. There are very few stars in the WWE today that exude as much charisma as the boss Sasha Banks. While Banks hasn't seen much success in the company over the past year, she is definitely one of the most talented individuals in the organization, as created history on the main roster, putting on incredible matches with Charlotte. Banks is a 4-time Raw Women's Champion, and while she hasn't done as well as she would have liked over the past few months, she has definitely earned herself a spot in wrestling history. She is also married to her longtime boyfriend and former pro wrestler Sarath. He works as a costume designer for WWE, and is 8.5 years older than Banks. Sasha wanted her marriage to be a private affair, so she tied the knot without too many people knowing. In fact, most fans were unaware that Sasha was married until she finally revealed the reason why she hid her marriage away from the fans. Bubba Ray Dudley is one of the most decorated performers in the business, and the Dudleys have won tag team titles on multiple occasions in various promotions and are considered to be the greatest tag team in the history of pro wrestling. While Bubba enjoyed a successful run as a singles competitor, he will always be remembered for his association with Devon, with the duo wreaking havoc in ECW and later on in WWE. Bubba started dating former Impact Wrestling star Velvet Sky during his time with the promotion. Sky is a multiple-time Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, and while she has retired from pro wrestling, she continues to appear at wrestling conventions. Dudley does happen to be 10 years older than Velvet, but that hasn't seemed to put a dent in the romance between the two. When Brock Lesnar began making waves in WWE, Sable was already an established star. In fact, even before Lesnar was signed up with the company, Sable had worked for Vince McMahon's promotion, power-bombed her husband during a WWE event, and later sued the company citing allegations of sexual harassment. However, both parties were able to work things out, and Sable returned to the company in 2003. Sable would meet Lesnar during this time, and with Lesnar establishing himself as one of WWE's biggest stars, the two instantly hit it off. While Lesnar left WWE in 2004 to pursue his dream of becoming a football player, Sable would stay for a few more months and later left the company to be with her family. Lesnar is 10 years younger than Sable, and the duo have since tied the knot and live a secluded life in Saskatchewan. Sable accompanied Lesnar to the Octagon when he was fighting for UFC, and has been spotted multiple times cheering him on during his matches in the WWE. Peyton Royce has been doing incredibly well for herself on the main roster along with Billie Kay, with the Iconics proving to the world that they are more than just pretty faces. Royce came up through the ranks of NXT and has quickly established herself as one of the prospects on the main roster. Very few fans are aware of the relationship between SmackDown Live superstar Ty Dillinger, the Perfect 10, and Peyton Royce, as they've been dating for a few years now, with both superstars taking a liking to one another during their time in NXT. The duo have decided to keep their relationship private, so you won't find too many photos of them together online. Ty is also 11 years older than Peyton, with Royce still in her mid-20s. While some women want their men to be a bit older, Ty has definitely roped in a Perfect 10 for himself. The Woken universe has taken over the WWE, and Matt Hardy has brought forth his Woken warriors to vanquish Vince McMahon and his minions. Matt's Woken gimmick has definitely changed the way fans view wrestling, and has led to other wrestlers thinking outside the box and trying things that are unconventional in the business. Hardy's wife, Reby Sky, is a former pro wrestler and married Matt in 2013. The couple have 2 sons, and both have already appeared on Impact Wrestling and WWE programming. Matt is 12 years older than Reby, which is in stark contrast to the women he's dated before. However, Reby, who isn't afraid to voice her opinions, has stuck with her man through thick and thin. After all, that is all one needs from their partner. The Undertaker is a bona fide legend in the wrestling business and has given 3 decades to the industry. While he was never really the face of WWE, he held the company together and did what was asked of him. He is the most respected wrestler in the industry today and has earned that right through decades of hard work and sacrifice. Undertaker had a wife named Sarah for 6 years before their marriage ended in divorce. He then married former WWE superstar Michelle McCool in 2010, and the couple's first child was born in 2012. Michelle is a former WWE Women's Champion and is also a 2-time Divas Champion. She is also 15 years younger than The Undertaker, which we guess isn't that big of a deal, when you're married to arguably the greatest superstar in wrestling history. For years, we were told that everything's cool when you're RVD. And he for sure wasn't lying. Van Dam is a former WWE champion, ECW champion, and also won the Impact Wrestling World Championship during his time with the promotion, making him the only wrestler to hold these 3 world titles. While RVD is currently semi-retired, he does make sporadic appearances and hasn't missed a beat in the ring. RVD is currently dating independent wrestler Katie Forbes, who is 20 years younger than the former WWE champ. Van Dam married his first wife back in '98, and the couple separated in 2015. Rob hasn't done too badly for himself since then, considering Katie wasn't even born when RVD started his journey to become a pro wrestler. And these were 10 wrestling couples that have a huge age gap difference. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling Hub, and I will see you later with more wrestling videos.